Rin darted through the undergrowth, her feet barely touching the ground as she maneuvered among the dense, towering trees that were alive with a luminescent glow. She was in the heart of the forest, a place she had never dared to venture before today. Clutched in her hand was the weathered parchment she had found tucked behind an old book in the dusty corner of the herbalist's shop where she worked. It bore strange markings and a cryptic note, "Follow the light of the ancients." Driven by an unshakable sense of adventure, she ventured further, branches clawing at her cloak like gnarled fingers attempting to hold her back. The forest was alive with sounds, chirps, rustles, and an occasional ethereal hum that filled the air. Suddenly, a voice broke through the symphony of the forest. "If it isn't a curious little mouse scurrying about where it has no business," the voice chided. Rin spun around, her eyes widening at the sight of a great owl perched atop a luminous moss-covered boulder, its eyes glinting with mischief. Who are you?" Rin stammered, clutching the map tighter. "Thatcher," said the owl with a fluff of its formidable wings. "And you, my dear, seem to have stumbled upon something that's been lost to most of the world." Rin hesitated, her heartbeat booming in her ears. "I found this map. It says there's a power hidden within this forest." "A power, yes," Thatcher tilted his head, "but one not easily found. The forest reveals its secrets only to those who truly seek them." Intrigued and a bit unnerved by this talking owl, Rin nodded. "Then you'll help me?" "Help you, yes," Thatcher squawked. "Carry you I cannot. Still I may guide," the owl hooted softly, fluttering down beside her, and so began Rin's journey, guided by the enigmatic owl deeper into the luminescent forest, where wonders and dangers awaited, hidden amidst the shimmering foliage. Rin and Thatcher moved through the bioluminescent wonderland as the twilight deepened. The path they followed was more suggestion than certainty, weaving through trees that stretched high into the starlit sky, their leaves casting a gentle, pulsing glow. Each step Rin took seemed to bring them deeper into a world untouched by time. "What's this power?" Rin asked, her voice barely a whisper amidst the forest's nocturnal symphony. "Ancient and potent," Thatcher replied cryptically, his eyes gleaming like twin moons. "A power born of balance. It tips the scales between light and shadow. One only a true seeker can wield." Rin pondered the weight of Thatcher's words as they climbed a short rise. At the peak she caught her breath as a valley stretched before them, filled with glistening pools that mirrored the night sky. Bioluminescent insects danced above the surface in sparkling swarms. "It's beautiful," she breathed, feeling a sense of peace and awe. "Beauty conceals many truths," Thatcher replied, his tone shifting to one of caution, "and dangers." His feathers ruffled slightly as he looked upward. Rin followed his gaze to see great winged silhouettes gliding overhead, dark against the glowing canopy. "What are those?" she asked, instinctively stepping closer to the owl. "Keepers of the night," Thatcher murmured, "creatures woven into the very fabric of the forest. Fear them not unless shadow clouds your heart." The presence of the great birds made Rin's skin prickle, but there was a strange sense of harmony to the forest despite the underlying threat. She realized this journey was not merely about discovery, but understanding and respect. As they descended into the valley, Rin could sense the unseen currents of the forest, guiding and testing, and she knew she was far from ready to grasp the true nature of the power she sought. But with Thatcher beside her, a flicker of hope kindled within her spirit. The adventure had only begun, and the forest had much more to reveal. Night draped the luminescent forest in its velvet embrace, casting an ethereal glow as Rin and Thatcher pressed on through the luminescent flora. They had walked along trails both bright and hidden, the map Rin clutched offering scant guidance beyond the cryptic phrase. Yet an instinct told Rin they were on the right path. Suddenly, Thatcher halted, his keen eyes locked onto something among the shadows flickering at the edge of a clearing. "We are not alone," he cautioned, his feathers quivering with a silent warning. A figure emerged from the darkness, cloaked in garments that seemed woven from the forest's very essence. "Intruders or allies?" The figure's voice was as smooth as the night breeze, its identity hidden under a hood of woven leaves. "One seeks, the other guides," Thatcher replied with a swift flick of his wing. Rin stepped forward, her heart racing. "We mean no harm. I seek the power within the forest, for the light, not the shadow." The figure studied her for a long moment before lowering their hood, revealing a face both ageless and kind. "I am Alondra, a keeper of these woods. The light you seek is not a treasure to be found, but a bond to be forged." Rin nodded, feeling the truth of Alondra's words resonate within her. "I want to understand," she said earnestly. Alondra gestured for them to follow through a lush grove, where the phosphorescent glow of the plants painted the scene in hues of green and gold. At its heart was a small circle of standing stones, their surfaces etched with runes that pulsed like the forest's heartbeat. "It is here we guard the forest's essence," Alondra explained, motioning to the stones. "And it is here that your path will become clearer." Rin reached out to touch one of the stones, feeling a warm thrumming beneath her fingers. She was filled with an overwhelming sense of connection, to the forest, to its myriad creatures, and to the very power she sought. Thatcher perched on a nearby branch, his eyes watching Rin intently. "Each step you take will forge a link stronger than any chain," he said softly, "but only if you believe in your cause." As Rin stood among the stones, the realization dawned upon her that this journey was not just about her discovering the forest's secrets, but also discovering herself. She steeled her resolve, ready to face whatever trials awaited them in the depths of the Luminescent Forest. As dawn's first light kissed the treetops, Rin awoke to find the forest alive with a different magic, one painted in hues of gold and warmth. The standing stones, bathed in sunlight, seemed less intimidating, their glow subtle yet infinitely ancient. Alondra, who had kept vigil through the night, greeted Rin with a nod. "The morning brings clarity," she said, her voice as soft as the dew that blanketed the forest floor. Thatcher, wide-eyed and alert, fluffed his feathers as he perched beside her. "Clarity, and perhaps a touch of impatience," he interjected with a playful tilt of his head. Rin smiled and stretched her arms, feeling emboldened by the tranquility of the morning. "What must I do next?" she asked, eager to proceed. Alondra guided her to a stream that wound its way through the grove, its waters sparkling with a luminescent shimmer even under the sun. "Your next step lies hidden in these waters," she explained, tracing her fingers along the stream's edge. "Within it a spirit dwells, a guardian who holds a piece of the answer you seek." "And how do I meet this spirit?" Rin inquired, her reflection dancing upon the water's surface. "With patience and sincerity," Alondra replied, her eyes studying Rin closely. "Offer your intentions honestly and embrace what unfolds." Rin knelt beside the stream, her mind recalling the lessons she had learned as a herbalist. Every plant, every cycle, a testament to the harmony of elements. She cupped the cool, glowing water in her hands and spoke softly, "I seek to protect, not to conquer. Grant me your wisdom, spirit of the stream." For a heartbeat, nothing stirred. Then a figure began to form within the water's depths, a wisp of light that gradually took shape, revealing an ethereal being with translucent wings like those of a dragonfly. "Brave seeker," the spirit's voice rippled like the water itself. "To gain my trust, you must show your heart is akin to the forest's harmony, not to disrupt, but to blend with its rhythm." Rin listened intently, determination flickering in her eyes. "I will do whatever it takes," she promised, feeling the weight of her words resonate through the grove. The spirit considered her for a moment before nodding, its form dissolving into the stream. "Then the forest shall guide you still," it whispered, leaving an echo that lingered long after it disappeared. Rin stood, determination set within her gaze. The forest seemed to brighten at her resolve, its bioluminescent glow mingling with the sun's rays, a sign perhaps that she was on the right path. The forest whispered of secrets as Rin, now accompanied by the ever-vigilant Thatcher, advanced deeper into its glowing heart. Each step she took felt lighter, as if each success allowed her bond with the forest to grow stronger. "Where shall we go now?" Rin asked, her voice mingling with the rustling leaves above, walking alongside the stream as it meandered into unseen depths. Thatcher fluffed his feathers and regarded her with an avian smirk. "Alondra mentioned trials, did she not?" "The heart of the forest holds many, but for you the spirals of dawn will be first," he hooted with a knowing twinkle in his eyes. "What are the spirals of dawn?" Rin questioned, furrowing her brow. She imagined labyrinthine paths or ancient cryptic puzzles. Thatcher swooped ahead, skirting low branches, beckoning Rin to follow. They are where the forest truly begins to test a seeker's strength, not just of their body, but of their spirit. Rin nodded, absorbing the weight of his words. "I'm ready," she declared, determination echoing in her voice, her feet carrying her towards an area where the trees began to twist in peculiar ways, their trunks spiraling upwards. As they entered, the air grew laced with mist and mystery. The path beneath became a mosaic of smooth stones, spiraling chaotically and guiding her steps in a precise dance. It tested her timing, her intuition, even her patience, as she navigated its many twists. "Into the rhythm of the forest," Thatcher reminded her, hopping gracefully between branches. Rin mirrored his agility, feeling the pull of the path guiding her movements. Suddenly, the stones shifted under her feet, threatening to throw her into chaos. Panic flared briefly, but Rin recalled the spirit's words, a heart aligned with harmony, and she steadied herself, her senses tuning into the pulsating life force around her. "Believe, and you will find balance," Thatcher encouraged, wings poised for flight. With closed eyes, Rin let the forest guide her pace, surrendering to its sway. Gradually, her movements harmonized with the shifting path, her anxiety dissolving into focus. After what felt like timeless moments, she emerged from the spirals, heart thrumming with accomplishment. The forest seemed to murmur approval, the air suffused with bright approval. Rin met Thatcher's gaze, a shared understanding passing between them. "Congratulations, Seeker," the owl intoned warmly. "Your spirit shines brighter now." Rin beamed with a sense of victory and newfound strength, realizing this journey had become about more than just the forest's secrets. It was about understanding herself amidst the luminescence. Rin basked in the glow of her newfound strength, each step through the forest more assured than the last. Her spirit felt intertwined with the forest's luminescent beauty, and an unshakable bond with her surroundings took root within her heart. As they traveled, Thatcher led her toward the shimmering glade, a place whispered of in tales but seen by few. "The glade holds key meetings," Thatcher explained, his voice carrying a note of reverence. "Alondra mentioned the Guardians," Rin recalled, her curiosity piqued by the thought of meeting others who safeguarded the forest's mysteries. Indeed, the path opened into a clearing bathed in bioluminescent light, where the ground itself seemed to sparkle underfoot. In the center, a circle of figures awaited, each radiating the serene might of their verdant realm. One figure stepped forward, an elder with eyes like pools of wisdom. "Rin the Seeker," he greeted, spreading his arms wide, a gesture of both welcome and challenge. "Thank you for allowing me to be here," Rin replied, her voice steady as she bowed in respect. "I am Kale, an elder of this council," the figure intoned. "Each of us holds part of the forest within our being, and we sense the harmony that you bring." Rin's heart leapt with hope. "What do you need from me?" she asked, eager to prove herself worthy of their trust. Kale smiled gently. "We require your courage, for a shadow seeks to snuff the very light you cherish." Rin felt Thatcher shift beside her, lending silent support as the gravity of the elder's words sunk in. "What must I do?" She pressed her voice unwavering. "By uniting with us, unlocking the sacred lore, and by facing your greatest fears," Kale stated, watching her closely. The forest seemed to hush, awaiting her answer. Rin took a deep breath, resolve firm in her chest. "I am ready," she promised, her mind recalling the balance she had found in the spirals of dawn. A ripple of approval passed through the Guardians, and Kale nodded. "Then let us begin the rite of unity," he pronounced, beckoning her to join their circle. Joining hands with the Guardians, Rin felt a rush of energy, each Guardian revealing a piece of knowledge, a fragment of insight that snapped into place within her awakening mind. As the rite concluded, Rin stood amidst the Guardians, no longer a mere visitor, but a bearer of the forest's legacy. She had taken another step towards inner fortitude, emboldened by the unity she had forged. Yet the shadow loomed closer, its threat more palpable with each passing moment. The bond forged with the Guardians ignited a renewed vigor within Rin, as the luminescent forest continued its symphony of light and life around her. The threat of the encroaching shadow whispered through the leaves, and every fiber of her being was attuned to the challenge. Thatcher, perched regally on a branch above, kept a keen eye on Rin's subtle change in demeanor. "Strong and ready," he commented with a knowing look. "Can you sense it?" Rin asked, her gaze scanning the forest depth where the shadows seemed to coil. A darkness slithers near, Thatcher acknowledged with a hoot. Subtle now, but not for long. Our task is to meet it before it strikes. Rin nodded, feeling the weight of her responsibility coil tighter. Alondra and the Guardians hinted at a place where light and shadow clash, a fortress hidden within the forest. Thatcher nodded, launching into flight to guide her. The ethereal bastion awaits, a stronghold where truth will be tested and revealed. Their journey took them through twisting paths and under majestic arches of glowing vines, until a looming silhouette rose in the distance. The bastion stood resolute between parallel planes of reality, its ethereal stone carved with ancient runes that flickered with hidden flames. It feels alive, Rin murmured as they approached, a palpable awareness radiating from its walls. It houses virtues and vices, Thatcher cautioned, a place where the seeker's resolve is both tried and redeemed. The massive gates creaked open at their approach, bidding them welcome. Inside, the air vibrated with an unseen energy, the atmosphere thick and expectant. Rin moved through halls where shadows twisted in her peripheral vision, dancing just out of reach. In the bastion's heart lay an open chamber where light fragments danced upon her skin like warm whispers. Waiting for her was a pedestal, atop which lay a prism-like crystal, pulsating gently. A sentinel prison, Thatcher explained as he circled the pedestal. An artifact that channels both light and shadow, a guardian of balance. What must I do with it? Rin asked, feeling an inexplicable connection to the crystal. Effigy of your resolve, Thatcher replied. Attune the crystal with the essence you've gathered, wisdom from the stream, courage from the spirals, unity with the guardians. The bastion will then unveil a challenge you've yet to embrace. Breathing deeply, Rin reached out, her fingers brushing the crystal's surface. A shock of energy lanced up her arm and her mind filled with the forest's collective consciousness. It was there, within the glow and shadow of the ethereal bastion, that Rin's determination was truly put to test, aware that every step elevated her towards her ultimate confrontation with the advancing shadow. As Rin stood connected to the sentinel prism, the chamber interior grew in clarity, revealing shadows disguised as walls and light reframed as gateways. Vibrations thrummed beneath her fingertips, each pulse carrying the whispers of the ancient forest. Your challenge within the bastion begins, Thatcher warned, gliding effortlessly around her in circles that mirrored her heightened heartbeat. Suddenly, the room closed in, shifting again as the crystal projected a vivid scene before her, a vision where darkness crept like a sentient fog, consuming light in its path. I see it, Rin said breathlessly, the shadow growing stronger. Her voice trembled with the weight of reality. Every fear made virtuous strength, Thatcher encouraged, his wings brushing her cheek lightly. Before she could respond, the chamber's center transformed to reveal a figure writhing in both shadow and light, pulling at the heartstrings of her courage. An echo of her own form, it mirrored uncertainty, doubt, and fear, the hurdles that harbored strength untapped. Face what holds you, the figure intoned, its voice a haunting mirror of her own. Rin took a deep breath, feeling the Guardian's wisdom pulse like a life force within her veins. I will not yield to shadows, she declared, summoning the courage gathered from her journey. The distorted doppelganger lunged forward, its presence testing her resolve. Rin planted her feet, recalling the harmony she had found in the spirals of dawn. Every movement and breath aligned with the spirit of balance she sought. Light flared from the crystal, casting radiant shards that pierced the darkness surrounding her shadow self. Rin's fear transformed into clarity, her journey giving birth to a newfound strength. The echo faltered, its shadowy veils dissolving as Rin's conviction flooded her entire being. In the boundlessness of the bastion, light and shadow merged and balanced, signaling triumphant victory. It seems light is your true ally, Thatcher observed, awe in his voice as the chamber returned to equilibrium. Rin nodded, wariness and exhilaration playing battles across her face. The forest and I were one path woven together. As the chamber opened back to the grand hall of the bastion, a way forward was revealed, illuminated by the harmony Rin had claimed. Our final trial will soon be upon us, she mused, hope lacing her words. The balance of the forest depends upon it. Thatcher nodded, his eyes like luminescent sapphires. Then the shadow will soon feel the weight of our light. Together they stepped from the bastion, united with its shimmering resolve, ready to encounter what the forest's secret origins had yet to reveal. Emerging from the ethereal bastion, Rin felt the weight of purpose settle firmly on her shoulders. The forest exuded a symphony of encouragement, its luminescent inhabitants shimmering brighter under her gaze. The shadow, a looming presence, threatened to plunge their world into eternal dusk. Thatcher flew ahead, a guide within the twisting paths that flared with bioluminescent life. "Our time grows short, Rin. The shadow's advance is relentless," he warned, urgency threading his song-like voice. "What lies ahead?" Rin questioned, her eyes tracing the ever-twisting glowing vines that seemed to form a natural corridor before them. "Ancestral ground," Thatcher replied as he swooped low. "A place where the forest's original enchantment began, ancient, deeply rooted, and potent beyond measure." The way opened into an expansive clearing, bathed in an otherworldly glow where ancient trees stood like sentinels guarding secrets untold. Their bark was etched with time-worn symbols pulsing with energy, a forgotten language of nature itself. Alondra awaited them, her presence a beacon amidst the glow. "The heart of the luminescent forest," she proclaimed, motioning to the tranquil yet powerful entity of the clearing. "We must unite the forest's sacred light before it is stolen by shadow," Rin stated, resolved to complete the task laid before her. Alondra nodded, her gaze both gentle and commanding. "To ignite the ancestral light requires clarity, grounded in truth and purity. Are you ready to harness the forest's essence?" she inquired. "Yes," Rin affirmed, stepping towards the center where the ambience pulsed strongest, a direct connection to the forest's core. "Place your heart's courage at its center," Alondra instructed, encouraging Rin to rest weary hands upon the sacred earth. Rin closed her eyes, breathing in rhythm with the ancient land. Her thoughts were those of unity, imagining light woven within shadow, harmony over chaos. With closed eyes, she extended her spirit into the forest, letting every lesson, every bond, and every spark of courage flow into the ancestral ground. A light blossomed beneath her touch, first a gentle dawn, then a radiant burst transforming the clearing into a beacon for the entire realm. It pushed against encroaching shadows, casting them as phantoms to be repelled by illuminated truth. Emerging from the light, Rin felt the forest's immediate embrace, an acknowledgement of her victory over both external and internal shadows. At her side, Thatcher marveled with gleaming eyes. "A power of ages now awakened," he said, pride evident in his voice. "Yet one final trial remains," Rin acknowledged, determination unwavering. "The shadow's core must be confronted, understanding that the path of light and love is prepared to meet the encroaching darkness head-on." With allies and newfound power at her side, Rin set forward with anticipation, an epic confrontation on the horizon to decide the fate of the luminescent forest. Armed with the awakened power of the luminescent forest, Rin journeyed towards the shadowy veil that threatened their fragile haven. Each step resonated with the courage that now united her spirit with the forest's essence. Alongside her, Thatcher flew in synchronized arcs, wings cutting through the murky air with precision. "Everything the forest has entrusted to you has led to this," he intoned, his voice both a reassurance and a reminder of the trials they had overcome. The path led through thickets and shimmering glades until they reached a realm where shadows twisted and writhed, a stark contrast to the lush vibrancy surrounding it. Dark tendrils snaked out, curling hungrily toward the light Rin carried. "Here stands the heart of darkness," Thatcher said, his eyes razor-focused on the shifting shadows. Rin stepped forward, holding out her hands, now a conduit of the forest's luminescence. "I won't let you take what's not yours," she declared, her voice echoing with the authority of the ancient light. In response, the shadows coalesced, forming a figure of whispered nightmares and forgotten fears, an embodiment of darkness that fed on despair and doubt. Its voice slithered through the air like smoke. "Light cannot survive in shadow," it taunted, "as courage will falter against fear." Rin closed her eyes, drawing upon every lesson, every encounter that had strengthened her resolve. She envisioned the spirals of dawn, the stream's spirit, the bond with the guardians, all etched as runes of unity within her spirit. "You're wrong," Rin countered, opening her eyes to reveal the brilliance within. "Light gives balance and purpose, and your threat only ignites our brilliance. The shadow shrieked, casting an encompassing darkness aimed to smother her light. Yet Rin held fast, channeling the forest's full harmony, a torrent of luminescent energy that fanned out in cascading arcs. Beside her, Thatcher lent his strength, his feathers bursting into vibrance as if aflame with the dawn. "Face her resolve, the forest's resolve," he cried. Entwined with gentleness and power, Rin's light met the shadow, unraveling its coils with purity and purpose. The clearing filled with radiant warmth that dissolved the darkness, forcing it to retreat. "No!" the shadow cried, its form unraveling as it succumbed to the inevitable brilliance. A quiet awe blanketed the forest as light conquered shadow, restoring balance once threatened. Rin stepped back, beholding the renewed harmony. "You've done it," Thatcher celebrated, awe shimmering within his gaze. "Light has restored the forest." The forest buzzed with gratitude, its creatures emerging to bask in the renewed tranquility. Rin stood humbled, not alone, for she had become one with this world. As the first rays of dawn touched the forest, Alondra approached, embracing Rin with pride and reassurance. "The luminescent forest remains a testament to your courage and heart. Here, beneath the canopy of unity, even the shadows learn to dance with the light." Rin beamed, a new protector of light ready for the adventures that awaited, knowing the forest and friendship remained her lasting beacon in a world where light and shadow intertwined beautifully, both vital to wholeness.